book, there's been widespread reporting and commentary from members of his own cabinet, the former president's cabinet, I should say, including high-ranking national security officials, questioning the former president's stability, his behavior, and his suitability to oversee the national security of the United States. So those are important questions that need to be discussed as well.
I want to follow up to this. Does the president believe that General Milley should testify before Congress about his actions during that time?
Look, I think the president has been clear with his administration and members of his cabinet and national security team that we will continue to work with Congress and cooperate with them as appropriate in meeting their needs. We've done that from the beginning of the administration. I would defer to the Department of Defense and the Joint Chiefs for further decisions.
I'll hand off. If you could just give a comment on what seems to be the escalation of tensions between North and South Korea.
Sure. Well, I would first note that the State Department and INDOPACOM have both put out statements as well that I would point you all to if you haven't seen them. I would note that in INDOPACOM's statement, they said they, of course, are aware of the missile launch, as are we. They've also stated that they have assessed that this event does not pose an immediate threat to U.S. personnel or territory or to our allies. The missile launch highlights the destabilizing impact of the DPRK's illicit weapons program. So I would point you to those, note those. I don't think we have additional commentary from here at this point. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. Following up on Jonathan's questions here, does the president have any concerns that General Milley perhaps worked outside of the chain of command at all in this?
Again, I think why it was important for me to convey what I did is that the president has worked side by side with Chairman Milley for almost 8 months as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. His experience with him has been that he is a patriot. He is somebody who has fidelity to the Constitution, and he has confidence in his leadership and the role he has played in his experience with him. I can't speak to anonymous, unconfirmed reports about prior conversations during the last administration.
Last one on this. Yeah. Former President Trump called these actions insubordinate and treasonous. Do you want us to respond directly to that? And then one more off topic.
I don't think I have any further response to the former president, other than to reiterate the context of this moment in time, what everybody's talking about here and what we're reporting on.
Just quickly on COVID, Dr. Fauci has publicly said that he would support a vaccine mandate for air travel. Is that something the White House is actively considering?
Well, I know that Jeff Zients spoke to this just a little while ago, or I should say earlier this morning. And what he conveyed is that, of course, as I stated, I should say back in August, we have been discussing and looking at ways to provide consistency, to provide clarity, and steps that will ensure air travel, international air travel, I think you're asking about here, but ensure it's done in an equitable way. And the current rules have been quite confusing, or the rules that have been in place for some time, but that's not an indication of a new policy that's forthcoming. Go ahead.
What are the lessons that the White House draws from the outcome of the California recall election in terms of mandates and vaccines and masking?
Sure. Well, obviously we would note, since you gave me the opportunity, and I'll say there's a statement coming from the president shortly. He has not yet spoken with Governor Newsom, but I expect he will either later today or sometime soon, just in case that was another question. But of course, this was a resounding victory for Governor Newsom, but also for a science-based approach to fighting the pandemic, for vaccines, for testing, for steps that will protect more people and save more lives. And there's extensive data from last night that shows that Californians were overwhelmingly in favor of a leader who is willing to take strong steps to defeat COVID and get the economy up and running. Governor Newsom has been one of the leading